You and your friends go into the woods and you hear this. Bigfoot is out there.
I think this audio proves that Bigfoot's real.
This one, I don't know how you can disprove it.
I really don't know either.
So this one comes from the Sierra Nevada mountains of Eastern California from the 1970s at the Sierra camp. And this was caught audio where they hung a microphone pretty much from a branch when they were camping at their Sierra camp.
Like if you and your friends have a secret like hiding spot, secret treehouse, secret whatever thing in the woods.
It was their hunting spot, yeah. And Al Berry and Ron Morehead decided they were hearing strange noises, seeing weird things.
I think they were brought up there in the 70s, but this camp has been around for a long time.
Right, and then they started hearing and seeing weird stuff that they couldn't explain. They even talked about in the missing 401 case,
they did,
where they saw strange lights.
Yeah, which was kind of crazy. And the one guy, I forget which one it was, brought his wife up there, and she experienced things. So it wasn't just them experiencing things.
And this dialect too, which has been brought out and it's been studied by the University of Wyoming and then also some other known primate experts, and they said they couldn't identify this noise. And I even reached out to a couple of people that we knew, like Trey Howell and then also Connor. Well, Trey is from Squatch Me Now, and then Connor is from Bigfoot Anonymous. And I was like, all right, these guys are the ones that we know who are Bigfoot experts. I want their opinions on it. And they pretty much said the same thing. They definitely believe this is a true Bigfoot Sasquatch sighting. I mean, or not sighting, but, you know, encounter.
Definitely sounds like a primate, like almost like a gorilla type sound.
It sounds like he talks to us and they talk to each other.
Yeah.
And this brings me to the point where when I reached out to Trey and then also Connor about what is this? Like, what do you make of this? Like, give me your opinion on it. I've listened to it. It does sound like it's a human almost.
Well, yeah, because they do like, especially on like any of these shows like Finding Bigfoot or anything like that, do try to make like the noise back, like whoa, whoa.
Like when I listen to that myself, and I'm no expert, and I've heard animals before, and they sound weird, but that one sounds too human to me. Like listening to that again.
I mean, it sounds intellectual. It really does. Not only that, but
they're interacting with these guys.
They're interacting with that, and almost like we know that you're here, you know that we're here. Like,
well, they brought up the theory of saying like we knew there was a land bridge between like Asia, Russia, over here into North America.
Correct.
Right, and they said what could have happened was these Yetis came over here, or the humans when they came over here, they had their own dialect, like the Asian dialect, and they heard this and picked it up. Sure. And then not only like their chatter, like knocks, clicks, you know, like the mouth clicks and everything like that. They said they picked up some of this language from people over in Asia and then started like using that as a form of communication. And then obviously over the years, they kept going with it. So it does make sense in that where it is in Northern California over there.
Yeah, it does.
Where they hear this. So it makes perfect sense. If I was them and I'm in there and I'm at camp with you and it's just us, maybe there's two other people.
Well, they said it's about 8 miles away from where their cars park. So it's a good hike away from anybody.
Right. And in the middle of the night, you're hearing this. Yeah. I'm going to be scared shitless. Granted, I know they said in a bunch of interviews they had guns, they had their shelter.
Well, so yeah, when they first started going up there, they were just camping out in tents. But after like hearing this and like seeing strange things, they built out of tree stumps a almost like fort type deal.
Yeah.
Then they said the door was about like what, 4 foot thick, and they would go in there at night because they were scared and they were afraid.
I mean, I would if I heard this kind of stuff and they were communicating, and then they were also communicating with us when we would yell back.
Yeah,
I would freak out. Like I would seriously freak. Like I wouldn't know what to do. Like that.
They said it was less than like almost like 50 yards from them because it was right where how their camp was set up. There was like a creek or like a river that ran right by it, and they said they were right on the other side of the river.
Yeah, this does. God, I love it, and it's one of the best sounds.
It really
or
is.
recordings of a creature, whether it's a Bigfoot or not. Maybe
Yeah.
it's something totally different.
Maybe it is, but I don't know. Wouldn't you go back there and try to set up
I mean, he has
like
been back
game
there.
cameras like around and try to capture something?
I don't know. I haven't talked to him. Maybe we'll have to get Ron Morehead on and say, hey, like, would you do this? Would you invite us out there?
And
'Cause I would love to go out there.
I do know like what National Park Service told them to take their shelter down because
Right.
they had a stove out there as well to cook up their food. And then
Leave no trace, bro.
whatchamacallit, the fires out there in 2018
There's always been fires out there. So
like kind of like burnt some of the area. So
I don't know. This one, it's got me baffled, and it's got a lot of other people, not just people in this field,
Mm-hmm.
but also outside of this field. And if everybody heard, you know, the Sierra sounds, like
Yeah,
they're familiar, man. Like
just
they're
take a look
familiar.
at it. Just
If you're
take a listen.
researching Bigfoot and you know like the Sierra sounds, it's pretty much up there with the Patterson Gimlin, you know,
Yeah.
footage of Bigfoot. Like I would say, like these two are on par. These are the holy grails of Bigfoot, Yetis, whatever you want to call it.
I mean, especially that the last sound does sound like two like almost like Asian Bigfoots talking to each other.
That could be the Yeti, man. There is different variations of different cultures.
Sure, there
of
is.
their Bigfoot, Yetis, Sasquatch. I mean, there's so many different, you know, names for this creature.
I don't know. I know that like Bigfoot researchers don't have like the money or anything like that. I would love to get like night vision goggles out there and like game cameras and all this stuff, and just sit out there and you can kind of see like where they are. And
Hometown haunt. We go out there one time and just camp out.
yeah, but we wouldn't even have any of the equipment.
What do you mean? What equipment do we need?
I want night vision goggles.
All right, we could find out if we could rent that, and then we can get trail cams. We have our own cameras we could set up. We could just sit out there with recorders ourselves.
Wah, wah, wah.
I don't know. That was a terrible Bigfoot.
I-
or whatever. That wasn't even close. That wasn't even on par.
You don't even know what it is though.
I know you don't know what it is. The only other thing that I can say is I don't know what he makes of like the weird lights out there. And a lot of people claim this. And this is, I'll just leave it at this because a lot of people claim
Here's Matt's theory.
no, it's not Bigfoot living in the caves.
No.
I do think Bigfoot lives in caves, but that's just me. That's a theory.
It's an alien.
But a lot of people do associate, you know, like UFOs and strange lights, and then also like UFO encounters with Bigfoot.
What if Bigfoot has like access to a flashlight
That'd be awesome.
and he just shine it at you?
I don't know. This one's weird, man, and it does creep me out. I could listen to this all the time. So, what are your final thoughts on just the Sierra sounds, not including any other Bigfoot sightings? The Sierra sounds itself.
I mean, I do think they're legitimate, and like I've never heard any other animal sound like that, and especially like communicating back to them.
You're really thinking deep on this. Greg's going
No,
deep.
you have to, just because of the fact that this is so out there and so like nothing like any of us have ever heard or experienced before.
So you're giving this a thumbs up. Oh yeah.
Certified true.
Certified true. I'm giving this a thumbs up too because this is crazy, bro. This is like
Changed my
I've
mind.
never heard about this before.
Changed my mind.
So yeah, we're going to link up to 2 videos of Ron Morehead where he captured the Sierra sounds in the show notes. So make sure to check out the show notes. Also visit nightmare365.com for get your own tea of certified spooky. Bigfoot's real. It's out there.
And until next time,
Stay spooky.
certified true. This Bigfoot audio sounds in case I think is 100% proof positive that it's out there.
I don't even know anymore.
So G. So this video and audio that we've captured, we didn't capture shit.
Oh.